Hello, welcome to the Nonprofit Plug. We are not live today, but I wanted to share a video so you can go back and watch the replay, take notes to continue our series. So I'm currently in Haiti, so if you hear some background noise, it's because we are located in the mountains, which means people, farmers are working in the fields. They are doing construction. You may hear some animals. Those are the animals that are in the countryside. Um, Let me actually give you a view of what I can see out the window. So that's a sneak peek of where we're at right now on the mountainside in Haiti. This is about 30 minutes from the capital, Port-au-Prince. And so my husband and I are visiting the capital. So my name is Kia Harris Taglen, and I am a founder for Dare Humanity. That is one of the reasons why I'm here. And I am also a nonprofit consultant. For more information about me, visit kiaharris.com and let's connect. Let's stay connected because I have a variety of things going on um, for nonprofit founders and leaders. So, we're continuing our series on focusing on getting yourself, your organization prepared for the next 5 years of existence. Dare Humanity has been in existence for almost 6 years now. It's going to be 6 years in March of 2021, and so we're excited about that. It has always been, it continues to be a learning process, and so I always share with individuals that it's going to be a learning process. You're going to have to pivot, you're going to have to figure out what needs to be changed, where you can learn and grow from the people you're serving, what you can do to make your nonprofit more prevalent. One of the ways you can do that is through communications and marketing. So let's get to it. So your organization should continue to evolve. Your organization should not be the same that it is from year one, year two, moving forward. It should always continue to evolve. So if you're going to be running an organization, you have to evolve as a leader, and your organization has to evolve. Dare Humanity is not what it was when we first started. When we first started, we had no idea we'd be doing work in Haiti, and now here we are, 2 years doing work in Haiti, still learning, still growing, and growing and learning from it. So, here are three things you need to think about when it comes to our topic today, which is where do you see yourself in 5 years? So, think about what your org will be doing for the next 6 months. So, instead of jumping straight to the 5 year mark, let's think about what your organization is going to be doing for the next 6 months. Um, which should include fundraising. It should include a fundraising plan. It should include a marketing plan that goes along with that. If you're not tapping into fundraising during this time, even with COVID and everything else, you are missing an opportunity. I've always said that November, December are the highest giving months of the year. So if your organization is not tapping into that, you're leaving money on the table. The purpose of year end giving, which is November, December fundraising, is the ability for you to gain funding for next year. So if you say, well, let's just sit out this round, we're not prepared, etc., then you are missing out on some funding for next year, which you're going to need. Your organization, as we said, should be continuing to evolve and grow. So if you need that funding, then you have to create those fundraisers. You have to put together a marketing plan in order to do that. So here are some questions you can ask yourself. So here's the question: how can your programs be enhanced? So, are you including evaluation in your programs? Are you including feedback from the clients and people you're serving? You know, when we create something as individuals or as an organization, we may think that it's great because we created it. But you have to get that feedback from the individuals you're serving. It's not about you, it's about the people you're serving and how it's tailoring to their needs, meeting their needs. Another question: have you been evaluating what you do? We kind of just jumped into that already. Getting feedback from your clientele, the people you serve. Is your donor base growing or staying the same? So if your donor base is growing and staying the same, that means you're lacking in marketing communications and you're lacking in fundraising. If you say, well, I'm just going to do a fundraiser whenever I feel like it, like, yes, you are going to raise some funding, but it may not be the type of funding you're hoping for, that goal amount that you're hoping for, because you have decided to just whip something together and push it out there. My recommendation is you put a plan together, starting out at least a month from when the fundraiser is going to start, that you plan what you're going to post on social media, what you're going to put on your website, what you're going to include in your emails, who and what are the individuals you're going to reach out to. You have to have a plan in place when it comes to marketing, communications, and fundraising. So another thing we can discuss right now is how about for the next year? So we talked about the next 6 months. What about for the next year? What are your revenue goals? So we are in November 2020. In November 2021, how much revenue do you want to have for your organization? If you look at 2020 versus 2021, what difference do you want to see in your revenue goals / your contributions / your donations? If you're saying, okay, well, we want to break even, we want to kind of just make sure we're maintaining the same amount of money at least, then how are you going to grow? How are you going to enhance your programs? How are you going to expand? How are you going to reach more people if you're not making more funding? So often during the year, or at the end of the year, let's backtrack. During the year, I do this as well, which is I look at my donation spreadsheet and I will see if the information that is there, how it matches to the information from last year. So let's go into detail about that. So it is November 10th, 2020. Right. So last year, November 10th, 2019, how much funding did we have? So that's what the comparison is doing. So I will look at the funding by dates. Last year, year before that, how much funding did we get in? Okay, so we have had an increase in funding. In some cases, organizations may do the examination and say, actually, we've seen a decrease. And once again, that falls back to your marketing and your communications and your fundraising plans. Not putting something together, it is something that you're planning in order to reach your fundraising goal. Another question when you're thinking about the next year, how much will it take to expand your program? So Dare Humanity has been sponsoring students in Haiti for about a year now. And our goal for the end of the year was to add an additional 20 students, which will put us at a total of 26 students. So if we were considering adding these additional students, how much funding would we need in order to make this possible? So we did some calculations and we said, okay, we're going to need X amount of dollars to sponsor these children. This includes their books, this includes their tuition, this includes their uniforms. And so this is how you can think about your programs and services. If you have a goal amount of people you plan to serve, how much funding is it going to take to serve those individuals? Whether you're providing classes, whether you are hosting events, whether you are providing a service that is free for your clients. You still need funding in order to provide free services. So how much funding is it going to take and where are you going to get that funding from? Another question, what things within your organization need to change? And I hope at some point, if you're not taking notes now, you're going to go back and watch the replay and you're going to take notes and you're going to answer these questions. You're going to talk about it with your board. So what things within your organization need to change? Is it your board that needs to change? Because often nonprofits are constricted because of the limitations of the board. What do I mean by that? I mean that often nonprofit board members are not active. I've encountered this with my organization, is that sometimes people want to be place fillers instead of doers. So they will have a position on your board. They will say, yes, we'd love to serve on the board. You initiate the first board meeting, they attend, and then second, third meeting, they do not attend, and maybe you don't hear from them for the rest of the year. Going back to what I will continue to say, and I said in one of the past series, is you need to make sure that your board is active and committed and willing to put in the work. If you do not have individuals on your board that cover those areas, then you need to revamp your board, which means that you may need to vote about keeping someone on. You may want to do some recruitment for your board. So finally, let's talk about the next 5 years, some things to consider. So for the next 5 years, consider that you may have to deviate slightly from your plans. So like I said, you have to be willing to pivot, you have to be willing to change, and so your initial plans that you put together may not be successful. Every time I have a fundraiser, the fundraiser has to be changed in a variety of ways in order to make sure we're reaching our goal, making sure we're communicating the right